Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on time. We are again here with you with another episode of Friday Fleet. Before I formally ask and introduce the speaker for the day, I would request CA Kalpana Thakur to share a few lines about our community, about her thought process, her brainchild, the Friday Fleet sessions. So, CA Kalpana, you just share.
Thank you so much, CA Sunita Rathod, moderator of our today's session and program quality director of Friday Fleet community. We are having our social media manager of Friday Fleet community, CA Aishwarya Joshi, here as well. I would like to welcome our today's esteemed speaker, CS Khusbu Agrawal, for giving time for our community. And it gives me immense pleasure to announce and share with all of you again and again in every session that this is the initiative we have started on 11th August 2023. It is a thought. Friday Fleet is a thought baby of respected CA Dr. Rajkumar Adukia. We had a thought that we female are having personal professional life both to excel with many responsibility and to have a platform where we can share our challenges and grow together, motivate together, and elevate in the ladder of life. So that's what we are having. We are now these days we are conducting session every Friday on technical as well as self-help topic, and soon we are going to come up with workshop about we are going to announce after the session in the later part of our session today. So data is the new currency, right? All of you will agree to the fact that's why we all are here. And at every stage, being a CA, being a lawyer, or being a company secretary for that matter, it's the data that we play with day in, day out to complete the work of our client, to complete our work. And how to handle that data, that's what we are going to discuss. That's what we are going to hear from our esteemed speaker today. Without taking your much time, because already we have waited for 5 minutes, I'll give it back to our moderator to introduce our esteemed speaker. Thank you so much for all of you, and to our esteemed speaker, back to you, Sunita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kalpana. It is my pleasure to welcome our speaker, CS Khusbu Agrawal. Khusbu is a seasoned multidisciplinary professional and the founder of Khusbu and Company, a peer-reviewed firm with pan-India presence. With over 9 years of experience spanning corporate law, regulatory compliance, valuation, and governance, she brings a rich and practical understanding of the legal and financial ecosystem. A fellow company secretary, a IBI registered valuer, and independent director on the boards of listed and unlisted companies, Ms. Agarwal has been an instrumental force in guiding organizations through complex regulatory landscapes. Her work spans secretarial audits, capital market compliance, NCLT representations, and due diligence for IPO-bound companies. Beyond her professional pursuits, Ms. Agarwal is also a passionate marathon runner and dedicated fitness enthusiast. Her commitment extends beyond the boardroom as she actively contributes to community service and social empowerment initiatives. Today, Ms. Agarwal joins us to shed light on the critical transition to compliance, a shift that demands not only legal adherence, but also proactive governance and stakeholder alignment in this age of digital accountability, where trust is currency and cyber threats are real. Understanding and implementing the robust data protection practices is a necessary strategic legal requirement. So, without much ado, let's dwell into this aspect further with our speaker. Please join me in welcoming CS Khusbu Agrawal.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am, and good afternoon, all. And Sunita, ma'am, Kalpana, ma'am, for inviting me for this. Today, I choose this topic, Digital Data Protection Act. Many of us don't know when it is came or what are the impact we are having in our life, because we all are professional dealing with this thing in and out. Like we certify the forms, we check the forms, we as a lawyer do our due diligence, but somewhere data protection is ignored. So it's a very important thing in nowadays, in our scenario, where we all receive some random calls from Bajaj Finance or someone trading. So somewhere it is seen that data is leaked. We have not shared the number with them, but how they got our data? That the question every time it comes to our mind. So I choose this topic from consent to compliance, the era of data protection. Because if we go to the history of this, we will know India doesn't have this kind of legislation earlier. We have this Information Technology Act, we have Indian Contract Act. Somehow some portions were there, but it was not detailed one until a historic judgment came with Justice Case Puttaswamy and versus Union of India, where it was upheld that Supreme Court of India said the right to privacy is a part of right to life and personal liberty under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. This landmark judgment was very important and relevant. And sometimes we say that privacy is a thing, it's a personal, it is not our fundamental right. But with this judgment, it became the basis for formulation of this act. If we go to the timeline, we can see this judgment become the soul of this Digital Data Protection Act. After that, a committee was formed. Then draft bill was passed, and it is the procedure and protocol with the government. Then finally in 2019 a bill was passed, presented in the parliament. Then with the joint parliamentary committee, the bill was passed in 2020, and then the bill was proposed, and finally the bill was enacted by the government of India on 11th August 2023, the day when this Friday fleet was inaugurated, I think. Same day. So it was enacted on that day, and from that this Data Protection Act was, but we hardly know how this is implemented, or thus we are facing this kind of thing. So this act was made with a very good preamble, as you say. As we know, preamble as a thing, it says why the
Sorry to
act is
disturb,
promulgated.
Khusbu. Can
Yes.
you please put it in a slideshow view?
Yeah, I can. It just a second. You are able to see now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So preamble says it's an act which provides for the processing of digital personal data. So it's all about our personal data, which we are sharing on regular basis. So it recognizes both the right of individuals to protect their personal data and the need to process such personal data for lawful purpose. This line is very important. We are giving our data to someone, some professional, some lawyers, some agency. So we are giving them right to process that data for that purpose only. In the our KYC also we write for this purpose, for driving license, for Aadhaar authentication. So we are giving them access for that particular purpose only and related to that purpose. So that this act came into force to bring a harmonized data privacy regime in India. In this act, there are 4 key definitions which we should understand to interpret this law. First is data principle. Data principle is us whose data is collected and processed. Data fiduciary is the person or entity which process our data. Personal data is all our any information which we give. and the data processor processes data on behalf of the fiduciaries. These four definitions are very much important. Now we come to how this consent can be transformed from and we can use in our compliance process. As we see, the Act marks a transformative shift in India's approach to data protection. While valid and informed consent remains foundational, the Act introduces the concept of deemed consent. Deemed consent is very much important. If we are giving data to someone, it is not that we are giving them for everything. It is not a deemed consent. So this Act introduced the concept of deemed consent for legitimate processing purposes and enhancing flexibility and clarity under Section 7. This evolution recognizes the dynamic nature of data handling in modern business environments. If you see, for compliance-centric governance, data fiduciaries carry the onus of strict adherence, mandating purpose, limitation, data minimization, and robust security safeguards. As professional, when we do the DI3 KYC or any kind of certification of forms, we also carry the clients. We have the clients' Aadhaar, PAN, and we certify them. It is our responsibility that we keep the data with us only and we do not circulate. At a data fiduciary, it is our duty. So we must also implement any kind of breach notification protocol and appoint data protection officers. It's done in a very higher level, but at a personal level, if we are processing someone data, so we should be cautioned that it is not circulated anywhere or it is not leaked. From institutional point of view, the newly established Data Protection Board of India, it supervises the compliance, investigates breaches and enforces penalties, which is up to 250 crore. Yes, the amount is very high. But under Data Protection Act, if we find someone or some entity using our data for some other purpose, we can file a complaint with the Data Protection Board. So this act enforces accountability across the entire data lifecycle, from collection through secure processing to mandatory erasure once data is no longer needed. So once we have given data to someone and they are not using and the purpose is over, they can just remove the data until it is like stored with them and they are using for some other purpose. It's like the accountability we are having if we are using someone else's data. So it's a paradigm shift from solely relying on the individual consent to embracing fiduciary accountability and systematic compliance. Consent is important, but compliance is crucial. So if we see the features of this DPDP Act, it is consent-driven framework. So it is informed consent. Whoever is collecting the data, it is informed consent. It's a right-based for data principles. If I am sharing my data, it's my right. Okay, I have significant control, relevant control over my personal data. Accountability on the data fiduciaries. As we know, they are collecting to the data, so they have the accountability to use the data. And it's there is an independent regulatory body, as we have discussed. This digital personal data protection board is there. Then it's a penalty-based enforcement. Whenever there is penalty or whenever there is fine, we deal it with caution. So they have also put fine for all kinds of, you can say, data breach or data leak. So here the objective for this act was very clear. So it defines the rights of individuals and responsibility of data custodians. For Data Protection Board, it balances individual privacy with lawful personal data use. They provide a comprehensive framework. It promotes trust in the digital ecosystem. It was lacking earlier. So with this act, it would promote trust. This act seeks to build greater trust among individuals and digital platforms and services. It balances the innovation and regulation. And it is also a mechanism for enforcement and redressal. If we have any complaint, we can complain. There is a regulatory body over this act. So their main objective is to have an independent body that can effectively enforce the provisions of this act and inquire into the breaches and impose penalty. So this act is applicable within the Indian territory and also outside the Indian territory, wherever any activity related to offering of goods and services to data principals within the territory of India. So within the country also, outside the country, to that extent, if the data are coming to India and processing is done within the Indian territory. So first, the data will be in the digital form. Then second, the personal data collected in non-digital form and digitized subsequently. We take the data, we scan it. So this will also cover into this. But this act does not apply to personal data processed by an individual for any personal or domestic purpose, or personal data that is made or caused to be made publicly available by the data principal to whom such personal data relates. If I am doing something, posting something in the social media, so this act won't cover that because I myself has given the data in the public platform. So such kind of data is not covered under this act. Or if the person is under obligation under any law for the time being in force to make such personal data publicly available. In these three cases, this act won't apply. Otherwise, any kind of data which is coming into the country and processing here would be applicable and would be covered under this act. So what would we get? What is the benefits of this DPDP Act? So with this act, we will get accountability. We can hold someone accountable for any kind of data breach. We have individual control. So empower users with rights over their personal data. And other most important thing is transparency. So clear disclosure of data practices to build trust. Fourth is innovation. So it encourages ethical data use for new technology. These four benefits are for DPDP Act. So this act places an obligation on the data fiduciaries. Data fiduciaries are the person, as we discussed, who is collecting our data and who will process our data. His obligation is to take consent, the most important thing, to obtain clear consent for data use. Second, inform users about data collection and processing practices. We all upload or download any kind of applications in our mobile. There, the terms and conditions are there. We always, without reading that, we just click it. So there also we are giving them consent to use our mobile, to have access to our photographs. Every kind of consent we are giving them. It will also come under this Data Protection Act. And they have the duty to secure, to implement safeguard to protect data from breaches. So it is always recommended not to download app which is unauthorized, because they will not, you can't crack them or you can't complain against them. But the app, if the app is secured, you can complain. Other obligation is reporting. Notify breaches promptly to the Data Protection Board. It's my duty, as I am having the data. If some breaches is there, I myself will inform the Data Protection Board. I will not wait until the news goes to the data principal. I myself will report promptly. It is my duty. It is my obligation. And fifth, data accuracy. Maintain complete and correct personal data records. I am getting the data, so it's my responsibility to get the complete data and maintain it in a proper way. then there are grounds on which this data will be processed. For lawful purpose, if we get the data after getting the consent from the data principal, it will that voluntarily provided personal data by the data principal, or the data principal has not indicated does not consent. एक तो हो गया उसने, he has given the data on his voluntarily. I am giving you my information, my phone number, my Aadhaar. Second, he has not indicated कि I am not giving consent. So it is implied consent, it is saying. By the state and any of its instrumentalities for any function under any law for the time being in force in India. For matter concerning public interest. If there is a medical emergency judicial use, then it will be used for this lawful purpose. For the purpose of employment or those related to safeguarding the employer from loss or liability. So these are 5 lawful purposes for which our personal data can be processed. Now another concept come here, consent manager. Who will take the consent? So data principal may give, manage, review or withdraw consent through a consent manager. The consent manager shall be accountable to the data principal and shall act on their behalf. Someone will be there who will process or take our data, and he will be accountable to us. And that consent manager will be registered with the Data Protection Board. So consent manager can also make complaints to the board on behalf of data principal and are subject to inquiry by the board in the event of breach or any of the registration conditions. So as a consent manager, his duty is to take our consent or manage it. So he will be only liable if the data is leaked. And he will be registered with the Data Protection Board. Here, as we are giving our data, we have been given some rights. It's right to access. We have given the information, but we forget how many informations or what data we have given. So we can view the information, whatever we are given. We have right to access. If we have given some data, but there was some mistake or there was some correction needs to be done, we can do that. Third, right to seek redressal of grievance. It's a right to seek resolution through official complaint mechanism. Fourth, right to make representation. If we are not available, we can nominate someone who can act on our behalf for our data matters. If you say adjudication thing under this DPDP Act, it's a adjudication process is done with the Data Protection Board of India. If this dispute is not settled with them, there is a appellate tribunal also, Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellate Board. So it's a regulatory authority to monitor compliance and enforce laws, and there are penalties for violation of this act. 250 crore penalty is there. So major penalties are discussed, like data protection has the power to issue penalties up to 250 crore. The penalties would be breach in observing the obligation to give the board or affected data principal notice of a personal data breach. In this case, the penalty would be 200 crore. If there is a breach in observation of additional obligation of a significant data fiduciary, in that case, it would be 150 crore. And if there is a breach in observation of additional obligation in relation to children, in that case also the penalty is 200 crore. Breach of any provisions of the act or rules made thereunder, penalty is 50 crore. So here the government has been very strict and they have put the penalty figures in crores. We have never come across in Income Tax Act or Companies Act this kind of penalty. But in data protection, government is very strict and they have put penalty of minimum 50 crore, as you can see. So here, data fiduciaries are also liable to pay a penalty. 250 crore for breach in observing the obligation of a data fiduciary to take reasonable securities, safeguards to prevent personal data breach. And there is also penalty on the data principle itself. If I am giving the data and if I am teaching any kind of duty which I need to be do under this act, so non-compliance will lead to 10,000 penalty. So whole system is like that. Everybody should adhere to their rights, their duties, and do all kinds of processing of data in a very smooth manner without leakage. The system is made like this. So this act is a very landmark, and it set a standard for data protection in India. It has not come yet at the organizational level or business level, but organization will adapt to them, and business must prioritize responsible data management. As an individual, they will gain strong control over their personal data. Anyone has any query? I have a very short presentation.
Yeah, and thank you, Khusbu. A lot of questions
Yes.
coming to my mind. But
Yes.
if you could just allow us, there's an important announcement that we wanted to share
Sure,
with
sure.
our participants. So before we start the question and answer session, so Kalpana, would you want to take lead in sharing the announcement about the workshop that we plan to have before we take into a question hour session?
Yes, thank you, Sunita. And first, officially, we should take permission of the speaker. So it was not informed to Khusbu beforehand. So can we do it, Khusbu?
Yes, please. I made a very short presentation actually, but I'm happy to discuss this act. No issue.
Thank you. So we'll not take much. It's just 2-3 minutes, right, Sunita?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned at the start of the session, it gives us immense pleasure to announce. Is my screen visible, everyone?
Yes, it's visible.
So we have conducted a session by CA Harshit already. It was on fractional CFO, the normal 1 hour session, and then we have conducted a poll in the group that can we come up with the workshop, and we got a favorable response. So that's how, with the effort of our today's session moderator, CA Sunita Rathore, and yes, the speaker, who is going to conduct this session, CA Harshit, we are coming up with the 3 days workshop. It will be conducted in the last week of June. It is 26th, 27th, and 28th June, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., usually after the office hours. And all the participants will get to know the comprehensive coverage, which is here. You'll get to know what will be covered. So all the 3 days, what is going to be covered is mentioned with a nominal fee to respect the time of the speaker and our effort. As we always mention, Friday Fleet is a social initiative where the nominal fee which is taken, it will be for the speaker and the upliftment of the platform that will be going. And we have mentioned the point of contact as well, which is none other than our CA Sunita Rathore, program coordinator of this workshop. So Sunita, would you like to add anything to this?
Just that we will be having CA Harshit, who's a subject matter expert on this, and he's going to take us through his personal journey as well, the challenges that he's faced when he has built up his vertical of CFO services. So it is something that people who want to, professionals who want to build up their own verticals of CFO services or want to actually exclusively deal in your fractional CFO services, it would be a good learning experience for them and getting a hands-on training of sorts, and see as to how they can scale up their businesses. So do look it up and read in detail about it on the flyer on what all aspects will be covered and how it will be beneficial for you, what benefits that you can take from the workshop. And since it's very nominally priced, and we'll be having some add-ons also, which CA Harshit is going to share with you. This is not just the only thing. There will be some add-ons also which is going to share. So take the benefit of it. That is what I need to share right now.
And batch size will. Yes, Sunita, you're saying something. Sorry.
No. I just wanted to say that considering that we are
fractional CFO, it's like virtual CFO, no?
Yes, virtual.
So he has taken some workshop for this earlier.
Yeah, he'd come as a speaker on our platform.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So since it is a very interesting and a new field wherein we are all seeing that the traditional setups are not just going to suffice in the coming years.
Sure, yes.
So we have to build new verticals, new add-ons to the services that we are providing as chartered accountants, and it has to be a whole package kind of a thing, not just audits and accounting and all. So from that perspective, to look at the future growth of your company. So I don't want to take on too much of.
It looks very interesting, ma'am, workshop.
Yeah.
You share this flyer with me as well, the brochure as well.
Yes, definitely we're going to share it in the group.
Yes, ma'am.
And not to take away from your time, Kalpana, if you want to share anything further, we are mindful of the fact that we have questions for CS Khusbu Agrawal also on the topic that she
only
is
last thing, all the information are already shared by you. Sunita, thank you for that. We are going to keep the batch limited. It will be not more than 15-20 participants. So all the present participant here in the session, if they are interested, do reach out. Thank you so much. Stopping the screen share. Yes, so over to you, Sunita and Khusbu, for taking the Q&A ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Khusbu, for your sharing. And I have a few questions. One is a very basic question that I have, that when we are sharing, before I give the floor or ask others to have their questions, I thought that I'll just share one of my questions. So we are sharing our information, and as you mentioned in the beginning of your sharings also, your deliberation also, that we see that these agencies are calling us up, banks are calling us up, and connecting with them. So what recourse does a normal person have to keep a check on organizations, or how do we go and complain, and what are the grievances that is there? From my perspective as an individual, you said that the current act, the changed act, provides for some grievances. So how do I track that? Is there
First, ma'am, we have to identify with whom we are sharing our data. We are, as per this act, we are data principal. With whom we are sharing the information. Who are our data fiduciaries? Once we identify them, then only we can process for this grievance thing. See, if you share your data, or if you share your Aadhaar with some professional, it is okay. But if you are sharing with any organization kind of thing, say LIC also you are sharing for insurance purpose or for mutual funds.
Right.
They don't, but if you share some third party organizations, or they also can sell. It is not that they are not selling. Somebody is selling the data.
Yeah.
Because when someone is calling us, they are getting the data from someone. We as a CS professional, we get also a call from other software or something that you are a CS member and you need this software. So how they are getting the data? Means they are taking the data from the CS Institute only.
Right.
So we have to find out who is with whom we are sharing our data. Once we know that, we can go. You can also check this. There is a website also. You can check with your rights as a data principal, as I have shared, and how we can lodge this complaint.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, does anyone else have any question? Otherwise, I have another one for Khushbu. Any questions? You are free to actually unmute yourself and ask, or even put it in the chat, and I can ask for you. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So my question is that we did have some kind of a data protection thing going on earlier also. So how is this act different? What add-ons does this bring specifically? So you
Ma'am,
had
earlier, yes, ma'am. Yes,
you had mentioned that transparency is there. So more transparency is there. So transparency from the perspective of the companies who are gathering that information. How is it making that? They tell us but what kind of parameters are incorporated in the transparency when we
ma'am,
talk
if
about
we see, like recently, I have checking one RTA agreement. For demat process, the companies needs to make an agreement with the RTA. So in that agreement, I'm randomly checking. I found this data protection, Digital Data Protection Act word was there.
Okay.
So the organization is taking the consent of the party for their demat registration. They are taking their consent. If from there any breach is done, so this party can complain against that RTA. I have
Okay.
given you the information, you are misutilizing it, and that data is leaked from somewhere.
All right. So
I can't
the
confirm about these
transparency is
telecom companies, but this in that agreement I have seen for the first time.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was there.
So transparency is from that aspect that you are actually sharing upfront that the liability would be there and the information has to be kept in accordance with the
And
compliance
it will be used for the lawful
lawful.
purpose for which it is taken. And once the data is used, they can delete the data. They should delete the data, because if data is lying there and somebody else is using, it may the data may got leak.
Right.
So for preventing that, yes.
So, so what are some of the steps that businesses can take to actually transition from this? You had mentioned something of consent-based and compliance-based, right? So, how does a business transition from a consent-based to a compliance-based framework? So, what would be the parameters if you want to define? Tell me that ये consent based था और अब compliance based में आ रहा है तो ये steps ले लेके एक business has changed itself or become compliant during frame in the framework.
As a company, when we are employing someone, we are undergoing an agreement with them as well.
Right.
So we are taking their consent
Mm-hmm.
for the things, and we are doing the compliance as we need to do. But under this act, if you see, for employment purpose also it is saying, and we are using this person data for that company only, for that use only. But if the company is doing something with his data, personal data, so he has the right, the person whose data is leaked, he has the right to complain against that company, because he is shared, and they have told, and they have assured him that his data is with him.
Okay.
In
So
the employment
these
contract as well, this act would be mentioned.
okay. So
Yes.
this is when you are getting into an employer-employee relationship that you're talking about,
Yes.
right?
And in
Okay.
employee relationship, or any kind of agreement, we are getting into any kind of agreement with our cable, Tata, any kind of things you are doing, any kind of app you are downloading, you are clicking that button. I agree to the terms and conditions. There, if you see minutely, you will find this, because they are doing anything with our consent. And if we are not giving our consent and they are using this data, then it would be violation.
Okay.
And this act is not that big. I have read like 40, 50 pages act. It was given one point there that we have given our data to someone for some purpose, but later on we have withdrawn our consent. After our withdrawal, if they are also using our data, then also it is violation.
Okay. So one question over here. We are sharing data with banks. We are sharing data with these days, even if you're trying to apply for any of the government examinations also, you are required to share your Aadhaar and your PAN and stuff like that, right? Now, supposedly I find that my data has been leaked, or someone who is not supposed to have that information has got hold of that information, or has used forged my details and all. So how will I come to know that this company is responsible? By what I am understanding is that I can go and get my grievances can be addressed, get my grievances addressed. But how will I come to know that this is the person who is responsible for the breach? So you're understanding,
Yes.
the onus of
we are
identifying.
giving data to multiple
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
You have to
So
make someone accountable, actually.
okay. So
if not
the
everyone
onus will lie on me.
Hmm.
The onus will lie on me as a person, as a individual, to identify the exact person
Because
who
we are
has done the
sharing to
data breach.
many. If
Yeah.
it would be the case that we are sharing to only one organization, then it would be easy. But now the thing is that we are sharing with everyone.
Right. Yeah.
So more of a private party, if you say, we can say what for government the thing is not as easy to share this kind of things. So more of a private party, you can see, or you can check this data protection board. There is a website also. They have given some kind of guidelines.
Okay. So,
Yes.
then I understand that practically it is not that hope for individuals, because we'll not be able to actually identify the person who has done fault. But for businesses per se, when businesses are sharing bulk data,
But
like the example that you gave of insurance companies sharing the data with their agents or so, from that perspective, I think this is where my question is.
If we are individual, we are not doing, we are giving our data to multiple. If you see on daily basis, we are giving to multiple. So that organizations, it is their duty to have protect our data, because it's all our personal data with them.
So any questions? Anyone else has any questions? No? Okay. So I'll ask one more question then. So when we are talking about documentation and policies and audit trails, now this I'm talking from the prospect of the corporates that who are taking these data or collating these data from the people. So what kind of a documentation does the act provide any documentation, any policies, or any audit trail compliances?
Yes, I have mentioned this now, consent manager.
Right.
Consent manager, his responsibility to collect the data. So there is a form that consent manager will take your consent. You have to fill that consent. If you see the app, ma'am, we tick the terms and conditions.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree. That kind of form is there. Like you have to write in that that you are giving consent. That kind of form is taken by them.
Okay. And that has to be properly documented, all those forms.
Yes. It is mentioned in the act. The form is given there.
Right.
Yes.
So when we talk about what kind of an audit trail, so audit trail will be specific to only the information that they're collecting and how they are storing that information, and the change of
audit trail is it's individual, it's company wise.
Okay.
It will not be covered. It's not personal. We are talking only about the personal data here.
Okay.
Yes.
You mentioned about the penalties also. So penalties were around 250 crores to the tune of. So that is the maximum, or is it a stable.
They are providing in the act only this stable. They have given 3-4 categories: 50, 150, 200, 250. It is stagnant. It's fixed amount.
Okay. So
Yes.
even a small data breach would be penalized
Yes.
with a 250 crore
But
charge.
there are 4 categories now. For children, they are saying 200. For
100
some other
crores.
kind of, yeah. For minimum, they are saying 50 crore. And for us, if we are sharing our data and not taking any kind of care, which should we have taken. So for us, it is 10,000. But for other party, minimum is 50 crore.
So can you elaborate some and give me a couple of examples of when you say that I will be charged 10,000. So what kind of um, penalty, what kind of acts on my part would be charged, chargeable or penalizable by 10,000?
So if I'm sharing the data to
Hmm.
anyone and
Hmm.
I'm not taking the exact precaution, it is saying like that.
So what precautions should I be ensuring when I'm sharing the data? If you could share that.
I am not getting anything in my mind yet.
Acha, acha.
I will share with you. There is in the act they have given the examples of everything.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So the act itself has.
Yes, that act itself is very beautifully written. They have
Okay.
given examples of every kind of thing which come to our mind. It's a very short act and very good one.
Any questions from anyone else?
Then nobody else is asking. I thought they have understood the thing or they have not.
No, generally it happens that if we are talking about something new, so the questions are so many. I'm also not getting to the pinpoint. It's taking me time to get to the exact.
But I would recommend you whenever you get time, just go through the act, ma'am.
Right.
In some years, or it will come into our play. Whereas we are as professional, we process many kind of data of all our clients.
So I have a question. Jayanti is asking what precautions to be taken while sharing PAN and Aadhaar documents with third parties.
Generally, what you should do in the PAN Aadhaar, if you sign, just you cross the sign with this key for you are giving for that purpose. We are using that's the basic precaution we should use. For what purpose you are giving your data?
Mhm.
Say for DSC issuance you are giving, for PAN, for you, for Aadhaar, or for LIC purpose, just write on that. So you just cross over that, so it cannot be used.
Right. I generally go for masked Aadhaar, but even in government agencies and all, they do not say entertain masked Aadhaar. So you have to say it twice or thrice that I'm not going to share my Aadhaar. There have been specific
Yes, in
directions,
hotels
and then
also, whenever
yeah,
I go, I give my driving license, not the Aadhaar.
yeah. But
And
these
while
days,
signing the document, you should write the date also.
right? Yeah,
The
I
date.
do that.
Because if somebody 3-4 years later they are using, it would be recognized that they have given to someone on some date. Date is very much important.
Right.
And we
Any
should not
other?
distribute our Aadhaar to anyone like this if it is not required.
Right.
Aadhaar is very much essential, and as you say, mask Aadhaar, we can do that also.
So no other questions. Just one more question.
Yes.
That for an organization, what all steps does an organization need to take to scale up its processes uh, when we are talking about compliance? So knowing that this is not something that has been done in the past and with that seriousness. So what do you think? What are the first few things that come to your mind that an organization needs to work upon so that they are ready to be on track vis-a-vis the DPP Act?
First of all, the organization, if they are taking the data from anyone, all the data should not be accessible to all. There are some data which should be accessible to the person who is using that, or one main person. If the data is accessible to all, we will never know who is leaking the data. security of data will be ensured when we don't give access to all the data to everyone. Now they have software like that ki they are not in the SAP also. I have seen they are using they are giving the power for that purpose only and for that limited kind of data. That is very wonderful step actually for securing the data.
Yeah.
And
Thank
the
you so much.
password so they must be using. So privacy will be maintained with that only. Securing our data with password and less access to people.
Sure. So thank you so much. Any questions from anyone else?
Somebody has written recording.
They're asking, yeah, so they must have joined late. So if we could, if you could share your PPT also, that would be a great help to the audience and participants. Yes, Khusbu, if you
Yes.
think, if you could share
Sorry,
that.
ma'am. Come again.
If you could share the PPT, the presentation
Sure,
that we
sure,
have,
ma'am. I will share in the chat box or what?
maybe later with
Sure,
us, then we can share it.
sure, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you so much. Now, since there are no questions, I would like to invite CA Kalpana to, formally give a vote of thanks and a little token of appreciation to you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sunita. So, our speaker was mentioning that there are no questions. So it could also, you have mentioned two options. So third option is it is possible that you have explained it so well that there is no question except our moderator for
That
today.
comes with the first only that you have understood the topic well.
Yeah. Oh, right. So we have understood the topic. You have explained it well. And we are getting the request in the chat box from Pallavi to share the act as well.
Sure, I will.
Thank you so much, Khusbu, for taking the session on the very essential topic. AI and data is what the topic of discussion everywhere. Being any
Yes.
industry, you take it, that's the hot topic, and you have enlightened us. And when you are mentioning about that discussion was going about the Aadhaar, so I was a little scary because on Monday I went for a property registration on my name and I gave my Aadhaar without thinking much and so
Actually,
yeah,
ma'am,
I'm
for
actually having tension now.
these kind of offices, the datas are leaked. Like when you go for Xerox also, in
Yeah,
Xerox, they took the Xerox and they keep it with them.
I
They sell the
understand.
SIM in your name. It is
Yes, so
very
I
much
have not taken
common.
any
Yeah.
of the precautions, Sunita. If this session would have happened earlier, I would have not taken my Aadhaar, but Der aaye, durust aaye. I'll take this thing in mind for the
Our mobile number also, ma'am. It is very important. We are giving everywhere. So whenever you go for any kind of purpose where you have to write the visitor, give your alternate or some bogus mobile number, I would say.
okay. Yeah, so
We
now
don't know. We don't know in their register they are giving to someone or it's like collection of data only. Some
yeah,
person
so I gave my
yes.
Aadhaar and I gave my mobile number both on a single document. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Khusbu, for opening our eyes to be cautious
Yes.
for the transaction, for sharing the data, not only our client but ours as well. And thank you, Sunita, for for moderating the session so well and asking all the questions. So it's like all that question that was popping in our mind, it was our moderator of the session. She was asking all of it. Thank you so much to both of
I
you.
was very
You
happy she was asking question. At least someone is asking questions. It is like this. If you are going to any topic and anything not coming to your mind, it's very difficult. And we are like professionals. We always deal with data. Something that like ma'am asked about audit trail. In the balance sheet, I am seeing still they are writing their audit trail should be mentioned, but they have not ensured like these kind of sentences I have reading in audit report. So these things are very important. We don't pay heed to them, or we just, as you say, you go for that and you give your Aadhaar. Sometimes it may be misused, not every time. Yes. Thank you all, and hope you all like the session. I will share the PPT.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for sparing your time and sitting in and through the session and listening to CS Khusbu Agarwal's sharing of the DPDP Act. And in case you have any questions, you might not have thought out, but you think that you have a question regarding the session, you please feel free to connect with any one of us, and we'll take the question further with Khusbu as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we wind up. Do we wind up the session, Kalpana?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day and a happy weekend ahead.
Yes. Same to you.